So I was thinking about this when I was in the shower today because
Shower thoughts are the
so me
best.
they are the best. So me and Ezra obviously have started this new series where we're taking on all comers
Yeah.
in double,
Yeah.
right? And spoiler, if you haven't seen the Ben and Adam video, go check it out. But we're 1-0. We're 1-0
When are you going to
moving
take on
forward.
the undefeated Bogey Bros? That's the real question.
Well, I was thinking too, like, what course is that going to be at?
You pick wherever.
You want to do it at Winthrop?
I mean, we could. Without the ropes up, Winthrop's an easy course, though. It's a lot different.
Well, no, it'd be for USDGC week.
Oh, we're waiting that long?
Well, what other tournament are you guys going to be at?
I don't know. We can make it happen whenever.
All right, show up to a tournament. We'll do it.
All right.
So I was thinking though, when it comes to doubles partner, and Silas, I want your intake on this too.
Heck yeah.
Would you rather have someone that has a very similar game to you, or would you rather have someone that has a complete opposite game to you? So, for example, you're a backhand dominant thrower and you like to release everything on hyzer. Would you rather have another person that's a backhand dominant thrower that releases on hyzer? Or would you rather have like someone that predominantly throws forehand or potentially like a left-handed player?
I mean, my opinion is the opposite. And mainly because in college, this is exactly the decision we had to make. Me and Ryan, who was my doubles partner, were at the time the two best players on the team. But we were the best doubles pairing because our games were the exact opposite of each other. Pretty much, if you took me and turned me into a lefty, that was Ryan. And so when we got up to a hole, there was never a drive that one of us didn't feel like we could do. And it worked out very well. And that's kind of how most of it, like Trevor and Pete. Trevor had a really good backhand game. Pete had a really good forehand game. And it worked out well for us overall. So I like the opposite just because I think it gives you a lot of confidence. Because obviously everyone plays singles. So like everyone knows how to like, attack a hole that they're not comfortable with. Or Brodie just disappeared. Everyone knows how to attack a hole they're not comfortable with or whatever it may be. Brodie's back. I don't know what's going on.
What the heck is going on?
What happened to that good
over
internet?
here?
How's that internet treating you? But the opposite. I like the opposite.
Is
I
it
don't
the
know what you are.
room I'm sitting in? You said opposite.
I like opposite. Yeah. Silas, what do you think?
Silas, what'd you say?
All right, so I'm going opposite as well, because I feel like that's how you balance each other out when you're opposite. You balance each other out. So, me and Brodie have been doubles partners before, and it was a good time. I feel like we
Do y'all have opposite games? I guess
No.
somewhat, because you throw all forehands essentially, forehands and overhands.
Yeah, but no,
I got decent overhand.
Oh, you never really pull it out though.
Yeah.
No. There's not many shots that require it.
I mean, in Silas's game, there's a lot of shots that require an overhand.
Yeah.
He
There's
sees a lot of overhands out there.
So this is my thought process. I think it changes based off of skill level.
Well, yeah.
So
I was assuming you're both at the same skill level.
yeah. But if you're both at the skill level,
okay.
like MA2 versus MA1 versus MPO, whatever, I think so. As you get better and better and better, I think you want someone that has the same game as you, because essentially from that side, you literally have two chances to execute the shot. And the chances of you executing the shot probably are going to be pretty decent, because especially if you see the first person go before you and they might have missed something a little wrong, it's a lot easier for you to correct your shot. One way to think about it is when you're playing with people that are better than you, or people like that are kind of your same skill level, it's sometimes beneficial to throw second, third, fourth, because if you see someone throw the perfect shot, you can basically just be like, all right, I'm just going to try to throw that same angle, that same line, and replicate it. Versus if you go out and play, on in a tournament with a bunch of people way worse than you, and you're throwing last, you're not really gaining anything from seeing what they're doing. So I feel like if you had, and it's the same kind of concept of like, it's a little different, obviously, but if you went out and had 2 throws every single time, I feel like you're probably not going to mess that up as much.
But
I could be wrong.
there's some holes though that you just can't get. But like someone with the opposite game as you
That's
could
true.
get.
That's true.
Where it's like, man, if only I had this 450-foot forehand.
Yeah, no, you're right. I would say there's certain situations that you might not be able to get. I wouldn't say like every tee shot every hole is birdieable from the tee. But I think what you're saying is if your best shot is in a weird spot and it's like, man, we really could use like a lefty forehand right here or a lefty backhand or a right, whatever it is, and you don't have that on your team, then yeah, you might be on the struggle bus. But
Yeah, because that's what we
is
ran into was there were, especially at like nationals and stuff, there were some like par fours, for instance, that were 450, 500 feet, but they weren't drivable by righty backhand. They were drivable righty forehand or a lefty backhand. And so by having Ryan, we were able to have a shot at the green, and then I was able to play the layup shot for the birdie. So I threw my safe shot first, got us in play, and then he'd go for the green. Versus if we had 2 of me, neither of us could get to the green no matter what we tried because I didn't have a 500
okay.
flex forehand.
Think about it this way. Okay, another scenario. You have someone that's really good at driving, really bad at putting, and then you have one team that's really good at driving, really bad at putting, really good at driving, really bad at putting, and then you have another team. You have another. The heck is going on outside? Oh, then you have another team that is really bad at driving, really bad at putting, or really good at driving, really bad at putting, really bad at driving, really good at putting.
Yeah.
Which team would you rather be on?
I'd rather have the really good at driving, really good at putting split.
So you'd rather have them split than 2 good
I think,
drivings, 2 bad puttings.
yeah, because I think that, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're playing at a level where both people in the doubles pairing suck, it doesn't matter who has what skill. You're gonna suck.
Yeah. This is more towards like if you're good.
Yeah. So then like the guy that's good at driving is gonna have a chance at every shot, and like where he might be, if he's a really good driving player, he's probably struggling because he can get the disc inside 40, 50 feet and just can't convert. But now he has a really good putter who that really good putter is probably struggling because they can't get the disc in 50, 40 feet. But when they do, they can convert. You put them together, you have a great golfer that could do everything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It'd be interesting to see.
So far, when it comes to double ideology, you and I are 0 for 2 on how we think about doubles.
It's interesting because me and Ezra have very similar games. Like we're very few times we walk up to a hole and I'm like, this is a forehand. He's like, this is a backhand. So we have very similar games in like execution. Obviously, different skill sets. But it'll be interesting to see kind of how we progress playing against other doubles players to see like, okay, like the scenario I just gave, someone that's known for driving really well and someone else that's known for putting really well, see how they mesh.
Did you have I haven't watched the video yet, but did you have any situations where you decided to lay up first instead of running it first? Because that was the first thing we really disagreed on, was you got a putt. So you scuba for the layup / run, a little 50-50 bid first.
I don't think we got into that situation.
Have you talked it through with Ezra? Does Ezra think the same way as you? You lay up first.
I think I want to wait for that to organically happen.
Okay.
To get the reaction to see what we end up doing.
Okay. I'm curious to see what happens. Silas, what camp are you on?
So that hasn't happened yet?
Well, they only played one. They've only played one.
2. They played.
We only played 18 holes.
Yeah, they only played 18 holes.
Oh,
they haven't done their second battle yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's my opinion?
Yeah. So it's you and your doubles partner.
Yeah.
You have a somewhat precarious putt that you can run. Okay. Do you have? But it should be a relatively routine layup. Do you have player A, first player up, run it or lay up first?
Is player 1 good at putting or not?
They're both the same. Let's just say they're both the same.
Well, then if they're both the same, it doesn't matter.
No, it matters. Because
Okay.
basically, would you rather have 2 chances at a run or 2 chances at a layup?
Well, I would say the first person I would want to run it. The second person to lay up because
Yeah. So if the first one doesn't
has
stay
nothing
close,
to lose.
exactly.
Then
so
the
then
second person you just safe,
exactly
pitch up there.
Exactly, Silas.
That's my thought.
Because then if the first guy runs it,
Would
hits
say-
cage, and it drops close,
Yeah.
the second guy gets another run.
Yeah.
I will give you that. I will give you that.
Oh,
that
you're
that's
switching it
different
now.
than- well, no. I will give you the fact that in golf, that doesn't really exist. Of where it's like, oh, if you run it and it somehow stays next to the hole, great. I can try to run it too. Like that doesn't really happen. But in disc golf, that can happen. Of where you run it, it hits the band, drops straight down. You run it, it hits the cage, drops straight down. And it's like, all right, well, I tried to make it, I didn't. But now we have an easy tap in. So now we have 2 chances of doing it.
Yeah.
So I will concede to that. I will not concede to the fact of like, if you're throwing your second shot to a par 5, I will not concede to the fact of the first person goes for it.
No, the first person
And-
always lays up in that scenario.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's just when we're talking about putts.
Just putts.
Because you got to get one. You got to make sure one's in play when you're in the middle of the fairway, and then you get aggressive.
It does just get a little dicey on certain greens where when the layup is super easy and you're like, there's no way you can mess up. Fine, makes sense. But it's when like you still have to kind of execute the layup. That's where it's like, I would like to execute the layup first and then run it.
Yeah.
Because if somehow the layup gets messed up, because there's you do have to throw it through. Like, think about this: you have a 60-foot putt, and you have to throw it through a gap at 30 feet. That's like 3 feet wide.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I would want the first person to try to just lay up, get through the gap, and lay up, and then the next guy can run it. Because if he's focusing on trying to make it and he misses it for some reason, now the next person, all the pressure in the world is on him to execute that layup. That's where I think it changes, is when there's like the execution of the layup is not 100% certain.
Yeah,
I would rather have.
It depends on the situation.
I would rather have that back pocket of, if for some reason the guy doesn't execute the layup, we still have someone else that could potentially do it.
That's fair.